All right, we have done it. We are reaching the end of the Bill of Rights amendments with this video going over the 10th Amendment. And this is an amendment that talks about reserving powers to the states and was kind of a way to just wrap things up for the first 10 amendments to try to, again, combined with the 9th Amendment, kind of cover their bases with anything they hadn't thought of in the first few amendments. So let's look at the actual text as a place we always like to start. The 10th Amendment says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Okay, again, we have a long sentence with lots of commas that's confusing, right? So what does this mean? Delegated means given to or provided to, right? So powers that are not delegated to the United States, and in this case, they mean the federal government. That's what they're referring to by the United States. So the powers not given to the United States by the Constitution, let's skip the middle part, are reserved to the states respectively. Okay, so we're going to skip this nor section in the middle and just kind of let's read the sentence without that. The powers that are not given to the United States by the Constitution are reserved to the states. Meaning if it's not given to the federal government, in the Constitution specifically, you should assume it is a state power or a power of the people. It's just a way to say that the federal government cannot just assume they have power. If it's not specifically given to it, then it shouldn't have it. So that's basically what the 10th Amendment is saying. It was part of the Bill of Rights, which was ratified soon after the Constitution was written, and defines the balance of power between federal and state government. It gets at one of these principles of the Constitution that we've talked about, federalism. Federalism is one of the core principles of the Constitution, and it's this idea that there is a split between the national government and state levels of government. And so they each have some different types of power. That is really seen very clearly in the 10th Amendment as a way to really define and set this federalism idea in stone and put it in the Constitution. Why was it added? Well, you may remember we fought this revolution thing to get rid of a super overpowered king government in Britain, and they feared that the central government, the national government, would get too powerful. So they wanted to add the 10th Amendment to clearly state like, hey, the federal government, the national government cannot just assume these powers. Okay, and also an idea of protecting some of the power of state governments, that idea of state sovereignty, okay? And it was a response to the debate between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists, these are groups we've learned about in class. The Federalists supported the Constitution, didn't think it needed a Bill of Rights. The Anti-Federalists wanted a Bill of Rights added to clearly state some protections and freedoms, and just an idea to keep the government from becoming too powerful. So that 10th Amendment was added as a response to that debate. All right, so what are some examples of these reserved powers that are reserved to the states? These would be things like education policy. A lot of your local school district stuff is decided by state laws and local school boards, not the national government. Marriage and divorce laws. A lot of those are left up to each state kind of issues their own marriage licenses and has their own rules on how marriages and divorces work. Local law enforcement is not handled by the federal government. It's handled by state and local forces. And then a lot of public health and safety regulations are also set up by the state governments. Why does the 10th Amendment matter? Why are we learning about it? The goal was to achieve a balance between national and state authority. Again, to limit the power of the national government and provide power to state levels of government. Over time, has that shifted? Yeah, a little bit. The national government's power has definitely grown and it has a lot of influence over state authority today. So just kind of think about ways that state law affects your life. I think a lot of time we focus on the national government, but keep in mind state and local laws affect your life way more day to day. So hopefully that helps, get you introduced a bit to this 10th Amendment, and just let us know if you have any questions.